Hey, everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Alex here, and today we need to talk about some very real and very concerning news surrounding the Kansas City Chiefs, because it is not the type of update that fans were hoping to hear this close to the start of the season. Now, if you've been following this team closely, you already know how much of a cornerstone Trent McDuffie has become on the defensive side of the ball. This young cornerback is one of the brightest stars the Chiefs have, and he's been shutting down opposing receivers week after week, playing at a level far beyond his years in the league. So when news comes out about a contract situation mixed in with some injury concerns, well, Chiefs Kingdom has every right to start feeling a little bit nervous. What makes this story so important is that McDuffie isn't just another player on this roster. He's quickly become a defensive leader and one of the most reliable pieces in Steve Spagnuolo's defense. Without him, the secondary looks very different. He brings that combination of speed, instincts, and toughness that allows Kansas City to match up against some of the best wideouts in the NFL. That's why, when reports came out suggesting that his contract negotiations have hit a snag and that there are additional whispers of him not being at full health, this immediately became one of the biggest talking points, not just for Chiefs fans, but for the entire NFL media cycle. Now let's be clear. Contract disputes happen all the time in the NFL. Sometimes teams want to lock in their young stars long-term, but negotiations can get complicated when a player is coming off of a great season and knows his value is skyrocketing. McDuffie is exactly in that position. He's proven he's worth every penny, and he knows that if the Chiefs don't take care of him soon, another team down the road will be willing to throw massive money his way. But the twist in this situation is that there's a bit of injury news layered into it, which makes the entire scenario more delicate. When you hear things about a player's health being monitored closely during contract discussions, that usually means the team is being cautious and wants to make sure they're not committing huge amounts of money to someone who might not be available for every snap. This is where the concern kicks in for Chiefs fans. If McDuffie is even slightly banged up, that's not just a negotiating tactic. That's a real problem heading into a season where Kansas City once again has Super Bowl expectations. The defense was already being viewed as the backbone of this team, while Patrick Mahomes and the offense worked through adjustments with new weapons and younger players. Losing or even having a limited McDuffie would force Spagnuolo to reshuffle the secondary, lean heavier on inexperienced corners, and potentially change the entire defensive strategy. And let's be honest, in a league where teams like the Bengals, Bills, and Dolphins have stacked wide receiver groups, you cannot afford to be short-handed in the secondary. One of the reasons this news feels so heavy is because of what McDuffie represents for this franchise. He's not just a talented corner. He's a first-round pick who has already lived up to expectations and looks like he'll only get better with time. The Chiefs' front office prides itself on drafting well and keeping their stars in Kansas City. When a situation like this starts to look uncertain, it sends ripples through the fan base, because everyone remembers what happened in other cases where talented players slipped away. Nobody in Chiefs Kingdom wants to see history repeat itself, especially not with a cornerstone defender. Adding to the drama is the fact that the Chiefs have already been dealing with other injury stories this offseason. You start stacking up those headlines, and suddenly it feels like the team is walking a tightrope before Week 1 even arrives. Fans want reassurance. They want clarity. But instead, what they're getting are mixed reports and speculation about how serious this situation really is. Some insiders are saying it's just precautionary, that the team is trying to be smart long-term. Others are suggesting that things might be more serious behind the scenes than what's being publicly shared. That type of uncertainty is what fuels rumors and keeps everyone on edge. When you think about it from McDuffie's perspective, he has every reason to want his deal locked in sooner rather than later. Players know how fragile their careers can be, especially when injuries enter the picture. Every snap in the NFL is a risk, and for someone who's already proven himself, waiting too long to secure that financial stability doesn't make sense. That's why these types of contract updates get so emotional and so public. It's not just about dollars and cents. It's about respect, security, and a player's future. For McDuffie, this is the first big test of his relationship with the Chiefs front office. Now, from the team's perspective, it's not as simple as just writing a blank check. The Chiefs are already carrying some big contracts across the roster, most notably with Patrick Mahomes, Chris Jones, and Travis Kelce. Balancing the salary cap while keeping the core intact has always been Brett Veach's toughest job. If McDuffie's camp is asking for top-tier cornerback money, and if there are any questions about durability, then you can see why the team might be hesitant to push all their chips in right away. But the danger is that hesitation can easily be interpreted as doubt, and doubt is the last thing you want when you're talking about one of your young stars. Let's not forget, the Chiefs' success over the last several years hasn't just been about Mahomes' brilliance or Andy Reid's play calling. It's been about building a complete team where the defense steps up in crucial moments. McDuffie was a huge part of that formula last season, locking down his side of the field and giving the pass rushers extra time to get home. Taking him out of the equation, or even having him playing at less than 100%, drastically changes the identity of this defense. Fans know it, the coaches know it, and opposing offenses definitely know it. So where do things go from here? Right now, it seems like both sides are playing a bit of a waiting game. The Chiefs want to see how his health progresses, and McDuffie's camp wants to make sure he's compensated fairly. The real worry is that this drags out longer than anyone wants and becomes a distraction heading into the season. Chiefs Kingdom thrives on confidence and momentum, and uncertainty, like this, has a way of creeping into the locker room if it's not resolved quickly. That's why this feels like such bad news. It's not just the headline itself. It's the cloud of doubt that hangs over everything until we get real answers. Of course, there's still hope that this gets worked out in a positive way. The Chiefs are known for finding solutions in tricky contract situations, and McDuffie has never shown any indication that he wants out of Kansas City. In fact, everything about his personality suggests he wants to be here long-term and be part of a dynasty. But intentions don't always equal outcomes in the NFL. Until pen meets paper, and until we see him on the field at full strength, fans are going to continue to worry, and rightfully so. At the end of the day, this is the business side of football colliding with the physical toll of the game. It's never fun to talk about, but it's always important to keep in mind. For Chiefs fans, the hope is that this is just a temporary bump in the road, a minor issue that gets resolved quickly. Because the alternative is something that could seriously shake the foundation of this defense and alter the Chiefs' path toward another championship run. All we can do for now is wait, watch, and hope that the next update is a positive one.